She cheated and lied to me after 4 years, but I got my revenge. Hi everyone, this is my first post ever on Reddit, but I'm not really on social medias. I recently sacrificed most of my social relationships to only keep my productive ones, and I need to get this off my chest. This story began 5 years ago. If you are not interested about the long story, skip to the here. I was still at school and my ex, 19F, and me, 20M, met there. She was arriving during the year and was in a group of people when I approached her. She had a good figure and a very innocent looking face. Long story short, we end up kissing and get together. She told me she was a virgin, and for once I was willing to do things right with her, so we really took her time and I gave her the best first time I could after about 6 months of being together. Trust me, she'll remember that one for a long **ing time. Something got my attention when she climaxed as she screamed, "OMG, this guy." Like if she have had other partners to compare it to, which seemed fishy, but I was younger, in love, and happy, so I didn't think much of it. We were very happy for a couple years, but all of a sudden she started being unresponsive when we were together, almost hiding herself in mutism when I asked what was wrong, and it really concerned me, as she used to tell me all about her problems. I even became like a psychologist to her, trying to make her feel good when her past came back to hit her in the face. I really did everything I could for this girl. Told her all about how strong she was for being able to overcome her past trauma. A lot of it came from her being abandoned, but also she was abused by people who were supposed to care for her when she needed guidance. So I wanted to know what's up, and I had the gut feeling something bad was about to happen. I wasn't wrong. This night she confessed to me how bad she felt, and as usual, I was trying to make her feel special in order to ease her wounds healing. We had wonderful shreks, and went to sleep. I decided to go through her phone, sneakily used her asleep face to use the Face ID, and searched through her IG history. In the main section of her DM was nothing unusual, but in the hidden section, I don't recall what it's called as I'm not a social media person, I found only one person. I clicked and then I saw her, texting to who she later called one of her co-worker. The only thing I remember from the conversation was her casually asking, "Oh please, I want you to lift me up." I almost screamed in shock, but I kept it for the next day. It was hard for me to keep it quiet, but I was exhausted from our little session and I ended up falling asleep, angry AF, about 2 hours later. I confronted her the next day, and she got her phone out, admitting the guilt. Surprising, I know, but told me nothing had actually happened. She also told me he looked a lot like me and that he blocked her as soon as she started making advances to him, and showed me proof of both of these statements. She also begged me to keep her, and I figured at the time I could let it slide since he completely neglected her and even blocked her. I lectured her on it, and the next weeks she was very touchy, very nurturing and super smiley, maybe in an attempt to make me forget all about it and keep our relationship healthy. I forgot to mention she started working in parallel to her studies, and so did I. Around that time I was just done with studies and started working full-time. I heard from a friend we had in common she had made friends that were very **tchy and annoying, and he was reluctant to talk to her since he felt like she had changed. Her friends were the kind of girls that paint their head in blue and hang out with men all the time. She had always struggled to make friends, so I thought nothing bad about it, and she even told me about her friends often, and I honestly was happy for her. It then happened. It was the end of last year and we were together since 4 years or so. A random woman DM'd me on IG, but I straight up told her I wasn't interested and in a serious relationship. It was suspicious, as that **tch was handling rejection like a champ. She kept going at me, telling me how handsome I was and how she knew my girlfriend didn't deserve me. I washed her off for a couple days, but she was being too insistent that I finally accepted a coffee with her, making it very clear that nothing would happen. 5 minutes after, I had a call from my GF, telling me it's all over. I was already suspecting something at the time, but I just said okay and hung up the phone, going about my day. It troubled me for the rest of the day, but I called her the exact same night, and she confessed her girlfriends and her had made up this story on a fake account on which they were all taking turns and talking with me, trying to prove to her how bad of a boyfriend I was. Call me stupid, but she came back crying again. I was in love, I let it slide, lecturing her heavily. The truth is she broke my trust once again. From there it was only downhill. You will love it. Here. 1 week later, in January, she came ringing to my door unannounced. We never lived together 100%, at 8 a.m., telling me she spent the whole night out and was just raped. She was in a very bad state. I knew she went to a party the night before, so I called every friend I had to gather as much information on the perpetrator as possible. I never was as close to kill someone as I was this day. The friend who warned me about her blue-haired friends answered his phone, telling me he left early, but he saw her very close and flirting with a guy that fitted the exact description she made of the supposed perpetrator. I thanked him and told her to go to the police. I was agreeing to go with her, but she refused, kept crying, and tried to gaslight me and make excuses like they are not going to do anything anyways. I did not believe her. I knew her very well and it all felt like some plot to justify her behavior and test me at the same time. So I very politely told her to get the duck out of my flat and decided to forget about her once and for all. I cried all the tears I had, unsure of what just had happened. If she lied on something this big, then it definitely wasn't the first time she lied. Then it all became clear. I remembered all the times where something felt off, like when she rang to my door, or during her first time. I had no evidence. But it was enough to get me to stop crying and enter the second phase of mourning a couple days later, anger. Anger was my most commonly felt feeling, so as usual I solved it by going to the gym and even went living at my dad's for a couple days, which allowed me to process my mourning faster and get back to my celibate's life in my student flat. It didn't end that way, however, as she came back unannounced one day at 10 p.m., ringing. I thought it was my neighbor, as she needed help all the time for her hot water tank and was paying me for the service, so I opened with a smile and there I saw her. My ex-girlfriend was at my door, with 2 pizzas and a big smile. Here is our conversation. Me, what do you want? Her, I'm sorry. Me, I don't want you here. Her, I brought pizzas, we have things to say to each other, both of us, we never talk since it happened. Me, I'm not hungry. Her, please, I need to talk with you. Me, making room for her to come in task. We sat down on the bed, as I have a very small flat with only one bed, a kitchen, a TV, and a table in a room. Her, I'm so sorry. Me, unresponsive. Her, starts to open the pizzas. Me, asterisk, I keep watching the documentary on ancient Egypt I was watching before she arrived, acting unfazed, asterisk. Her, unsure about what to do, she starts eating, smiling eagerly. You are not hungry? Me, I already told you that, if you have things to say, go ahead, but don't expect me to say anything back. Her, alright, I'm sorry I lied to you, about what happened at the party. I was drunk and I wasn't really sure it had happened at the end, but I really love you, and you did nothing. Me, super angry and disappointed. You never drink. Stop lying. The friend, told me what happened. He saw you flirting with him the same night. Her, unable to process, starts to cry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Goes on for an eternity. Me, if you are done, go, I don't ever want to see you ever again. I was still loving her, but the shame and pain feelings were too much for me to process, and as she wasn't leaving and I was about to cry, I eventually decided to stop feeling anything and my mind went blank. I decided to focus back on the TV. Her, can I have a last hug? I promise I will go after, so please let me hug you one last time, asterisk. Me, wanting it to end ASAP. It didn't mean anything, I just wanted it to end. Her, hugging me tight and trying to caress my back. Me, uncomfortable, not moving, fidgeting when she tried to caress my back. Her, there is something I want to ask you, before I go, hesitates. Me, Her, can we make love one last time, please? This was the end of our conversation. My mind went numb from all of this. I suddenly wanted payback and figured, yeah, duck it, let's do it one last time, since we're at it, call me an asterisk shoal or whatever. She started undressing immediately after I started touching her hips, then she tried to kiss me, but I was reluctant to do it, so I grabbed her by her neck and pushed her, then I undressed as well. Needless to say, I treated her like meat and even enjoyed insulting her in the process. I broke her back and knees that night like I never did to anyone, and somehow I was the one that lifted her up at the end. I'm sure nobody did it with such energy, and it somehow eased my pain. Then I kicked her out. I had blocked her from everywhere already, so I never talked to her again. I was not able to recognize myself after what I did. She kept sending me messages for a couple weeks, but I never responded as I knew it wouldn't only make things worse. Voila, it's the end of the story. It's been more than 6 months. I'm still in the accepting phase of mourning, but I keep going to the gym, and, seeing how friends could influence one's life, I started making room in my friends list and only kept the productive, hard-working, trustworthy friends around me. I recently realized I need to heal from her trauma. It was obviously more than one person could handle, and I realized what she shared with me, what I helped her heal from, was also waiting on me. It still is, and I haven't had Shreks with another woman for the last 6 months. A friend of mine tried to come out with her feelings when I broke up with my ex, including one of my other exes, but I'm trying to heal and better myself first. I think I need to show up to the next one with clarity, protection, and love. I wouldn't be able to do so right now, but I'm living my best life. I hope you enjoyed my story. If you are still reading this mess, I have to thank you for your time. If you have any question, suggestion, or advice, don't hesitate to ask, as I think I will read answers for a couple days. Not too into social media once again, but I might start to like Reddit now that I started using it, who knows. Oh, and also forgive my mistakes, English isn't my native language. Peace. Comment. Personally, I doubt I would have touched her, or even let her in the door. I would have taken the pizzas and closed the door in her face. I'm not expecting anything, but I agree it was a very bad decision. I was feeling bad about what I did at the time. I saw it as a revenge, but she appeared to love it, so it most probably wasn't. I'm not sure you got revenge at all. The way you describe you having sex with her at the end, and it sounds like you are still thinking about it too. And if she after 6 months are already over you, it was you that got F. But it's cool you take it slow and are trying to heal yourself, but just go out there and enjoy life, instead of locking your hard AMD life away. And good for you that you got rid of her. Next story 2. My stepfather has been cheating on my mom. Do I tell her or not? Using a throwaway account for discretion here. Today, I, am 20, discovered that my stepfather, 49, has been involved in multiple long-term affairs, cheating on my mom, 50, with several women. They started dating soon after my parents' divorce and have been together for about 14 years now. They have a 10-year-old daughter together, are financially stable, enjoy frequent extended holidays, and have good relationships with each other's families, a seemingly successful step-family. All of the kids have moved out, including myself, except for their daughter. Earlier today, while house-sitting for them while they were on vacation, I stumbled upon a phone lying in a drawer. Without thinking, I picked it up and unlocked it, fully aware that this was wrong. My curiosity got the better of me, and I checked the notifications on the phone. I noticed a suspicious text message with some red emojis. Intrigued, I opened the messaging app and discovered that it was my stepfather's work phone. Again, I knew I should have put it down and forgotten about it, but my curiosity took over. I scrolled through the messages and found numerous conversations between my stepfather and different women, mainly discussing meeting up for explicit activities. It became clear that they were connecting through a sugar dating site, and my stepfather was financially compensating these women for their encounters. These meetings primarily took place at the women's houses or in hotels, not at my mom's house, at least from what I know. The cheating has been ongoing for a minimum of 4 years, but I suspect it may have started even earlier. Now, the pressing question is, should I inform my mom? While she appears to be somewhat content, I'm aware that her lifestyle is largely supported by my stepfather, and I can't fathom the impact it would have on my half-sister, who idealizes our family. Additionally, I have a slight feeling that my mom may already have an inkling of what's going on but chooses to ignore it for the sake of family harmony. Bringing it up could also disrupt the dynamics at family gatherings, particularly during the holiday season. Moreover, my mom struggles with conflicts, which adds to my apprehension. On the other hand, I have a brother whom I could confide in before discussing this with my mom, but I'm unsure if burdening him with this information is the right move. So, should I allow my family to continue living in blissful ignorance, the blue pill, or should I reveal the truth, the red pill? Your guidance would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. ComNet. Always tell the parent. If you don't tell them and they find out you knew but didn't tell them, they'll feel betrayed, and that has destroyed relationships between parents and their children. Your mother must be informed. Collect all the evidence you can and present it to her privately. Say you're sorry to have to be one to tell her, but since you stumbled upon this information, you can't in good conscience keep it from her. Let her know you will support whatever decision she makes and you won't tell another living soul if she doesn't want you to. Then keep that promise. Also let her know you think she deserves better.